Here is Fox's The Five, and they were talking about some dumb, what was it, a magazine that called him best dressed?
Yeah, like the New York Times included him in like one of their like top 90 most stylish people of the year.
The amount that I don't give a fuck about that is it's unexplainable. Imagine getting actually upset about that. It's like being mad about somebody being named people's sexiest man alive.
And if you'll see, it's such nonsense what they're saying. It's such complete and utter horseshit that the one token liberal that they have on the show, Jess Tarlov, literally can't even muster any opposition to what they're saying. She's so beleaguered by it.
Well, I mean, again, she should leave this program. I'm sure she has a big fat paycheck there, but it's not worth having to spend your time with Jesse Waters, Greg Gutfeld, Janine Pirro, and Dana Perino on a panel every day of your life.
Hey, nobody. It's the world's best kept secret.
So he's like an extra for the Democrats. If you think about the Democrat machine as a production unit, they can make Fetterman the best dressed. They can put Fetterman in a Hollywood hit with Christian Bale, and they can put Fetterman in the U.S. Senate. They can do anything to anybody. That's how powerful they are. And it's kind of just flaunting how they can get away with anything. We can take this guy off the street, looks homeless, and put him in the highest office in the land.
Off the street, he was the literal second in command of the state of Pennsylvania, the lieutenant governor, the second most powerful person in the state of Pennsylvania. But right, correct. He was brought off the street.
They have such like senses of superiority that they get to wear fancy custom suits and then go to some midtown bar and have a Manhattan at 12 o'clock.
Do you see Sagar and Jetty being
PM.
like, the thing about anti-suit posters is, have they ever not worn suits to a wedding? No, because they show respect. Well, guess what, Sagar? Fetterman, and Sagar did see this, did officiate a wedding basically in a hoodie and shorts.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like that is his prerogative. I mean, come on, you guys are such dorks. Seriously.
Yeah, dweebs.
Dweebs, right.
I mean, I didn't mean to correct you.
I shouldn't even say, no, dweebs. There is a distinction. You are correct. You're dweebs. All right, keep going.
And or close to it, and you can't do anything about it. You can have a TV star with billions of dollars and too many homes to count, and he can't even take this.
That's America.
Stop it.
That's how good we.
But like, bro,
That was
why.
the problem.
Yeah.
He didn't live in the state.
You're supposed to be these faux class politics guys now. How do you not understand that that's actually the problem? That this guy looks like one of us, and Dr. Oz is some guy who owns like multiple properties.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
carpet-bagging shithead.
That's the point, is exactly right. People did feel, and I think this it speaks to Fetterman's appeal, that he was not condescending and he spoke to them. That's a huge part of it. And they're so threatened by the fact that the Democrats have someone authentically embodying that perspective, because they know that they're full of shit about it. They know that they sit in Manhattan, they wear those suits, and they look down on everybody. They have contempt for people who are not in that circle. And so it's so cynical when they cosplay the everyman kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what I mean. Yeah,
it's threatening to them that Fetterman is authentically that way, as opposed to them having to pretend to be that way. It's harder for them to do that.
Yeah, and like Dr. Oz, man, like, I mean, put aside the Turkish thing, which I think probably hurt him among Republican voters more than wavering Democrats or whatever, but that's a weird guy. Like, he's some sort of like studio cable talk show studio creation that obviously is not comfortable in like a grocery store.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, like, it's, you know, it seems stupid, but like the guy thought an entire head of broccoli went into a plate of vegetables, like a crudité plate. Like, he is too rich to even understand how to purchase his own food. Like,
also,
that's
and
going to alienate people.
At the same time that his campaign, and it wasn't directly from him, but his spokesperson came out and said that Fetterman just doesn't take care of his health, and that's why he had a stroke.
Right.
They were trying to blame it.
And like, yeah, Fetterman Oz trying to be hands off from that. Like, bro, you're a physician.
Yeah.
You have people in your campaign saying that shit. Like, you have to know that most people are gonna be like, God, that is brutal.
Yeah, right. All right, keep going.
We are at doing what we do.
I think you proved a different point than you intended.
Yeah.
But it was a good one.
You'd get it. I mean, listen, this guy's not worth jack. And look at him. He's next to Christian Bale. When did he have time to do this?
It was before.
He's recovered. He's going to have another heart attack.
It was
They're
before.
putting him in a movie next to Bale.
He's sitting in a tavern. He doesn't have any heavy lift to this, and it was
Does
filmed
he have
like
any
2 years
lines?
ago. I don't know. I think it's just for his face. But
You moron.
Dana,
It's
isn't
just
the
for
list?
his
I mean,
face.
fashion these days is not conventional. Like who has the best tailored suits? Though Eric Adams was on the
However,
list
we
for
have to
that.
consider the source, okay? So this is the New York Times, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, wow, Carhartt. It's so trendy
Yeah,
and chic.
yeah.
And most of the
Pause
rest of
it.
America...
It is. I see stupid influencers I follow from the damn Bachelor wearing Carhartt.
That shit ain't
I'm
new.
wearing it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
We did 2 dope boys in a podcast, Michael Brooks, Phil McKenzie, back in like 2015. We were talking about the crossover appeal of Carhartt, both in rural areas where it's like a sort of like everyman sort of look at me with my toolbox and my utility belt, and like urban like wear as well, which shocked the hell out of me. But guess what? That's like
Wow, that has aged very well.
that's not, but what I'm saying is like, that wasn't our reporting. That was like Inc.com or something like that, right? Like this is not.
I don't even know how you guys stumbled on that topic.
Oh, that was 2 dope boys, sort of like.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
bread and butter.
Bread and butter.
And can I just say this too? And this is the same thing that I think is animates a lot of Trump's insecurities and Musk's insecurities, and like is that all of these people at the end of the day, a lot of this is literally them venting their jealousy that mainstream media outlets don't like them as much. If someone in the New York Times style section was like, Dana Perino is one of the 93 most stylish people in the country of the year 2022, the 5 would lead with it every single goddamn show. These people crave the attention and the approval of the media they purportedly hate, and because they don't get it, that's why they do it.
Yeah, the idea that, I mean, it's this is the definition of elitism. That if you don't have a tailored suit and look like you stepped off a Mad Men set, that you are somehow like worthy of derision. And the fact that he's breaking these norms in Congress, in the Senate, I think is a great thing.
Yeah, you know what every man do? They wear shorts when they should probably be wearing pants.
I mean, next thing that needs to go are heels. That is my New York Times fashion tip. But
Wow, leveler.
Max Idol in the YouTube chat
hate heels.
said Max Idol in the YouTube chat said Jesse sounds salty AF about not being able to meet Christian Bale, and that's the same thing I'm
Yes.
talking about.
That's part
you don't
of it,
think
too,
Jesse
yeah.
Waters didn't want to be an extra in a movie with frickin' Batman? No,
You know
I don't
what's-
think so.
It's so funny. Like I remember when I was in Fargo and I was this is a little bit of story time. A lot of my roommates were film majors, and one of the people that was sort of in our group moved to Toronto to sort of be in production. And he sent a selfie of himself at a bar. I think, as memory serves, it was David Cross. And we like
Full circle.
Like people text him back like they're happy for him, but we all just hated him, and we're like, "What a fucking asshole! Why does he get to do that? Like, fuck that guy."
yeah, that's basically it. That's what this is. They haven't evolved from that point. And now, Matt, you should go back to that group chat and say, well, David Cross, friends with my boss, and I get to hang out with him.
Also, I just got a Jazz Daredevil whiskey highball from John Benjamin and made him laugh last week.
No
so.
big deal.
Now Matt's group chat's like, I hate that guy.
Next up, Matt Leck in the New York Times best dressed
and by the way,
with Adidas track
Yeah.
pants.
None of those friends talk to me anymore either. So.
Keep going.
Are like, yeah, we wear that every day because we work outside. He wears it and does no work outside. He's not a blue collar guy. Lived off of his parents, made $150 a year. He attended Kennedy at Harvard, and all of a sudden he's cool because he wears a trucker hat.
Yeah.
And the truckers are like, well, are we cool now too? But oh no, the New York Times would never say that.
He went to Harvard,
Yeah.
What?
Ah,
and he's
Jesse.
living with his parents.
Pause it.
He lives
lives with
off.
Does he wear a trucker hat?
She doesn't even
They
know.
haven't showed a single pic. Maybe he does.
She doesn't know what the trucker hat is. He's wearing a Carhartt beanie, just like Bradley right now.
Does Dana Perino think working with her hands means laundering the Iraq War for the American public during the early 2000s? I don't think that was.
He got
working
his
with her
master's
hands.
in public policy at Harvard, but he went to Albright and then University of Connecticut for his MBA.
And does the New York Times, do they say truckers are fashionable? No, that's a problem with the New York Times. That shows their class positioning. Of course, they would never do that.
It's
Fox
fashion
News,
journalism.
Well, Fox News ain't exact. Like, none of those people are having lunch with truckers.
Yeah, no.
Fetterman is more likely to do that than any of those people.
Exactly. I'm sorry, but like fashion journalism is very, very in the same vein as financial journalism and like those kinds of CNBC reporters. I'm not expecting class politics from them. And if they're doing this, they're trying to like check a box and be subversive to a degree. But there's nothing serious about this. They exist in their own silo. Anna Wintour gets to, give her input. I don't fucking care. But I do care about how ridiculous.
I mean, I like Fetterman's fashion. I think that's
I mean, I do. That's fine, right? But it's just whatever.
Wife and children.
It is funny how it's cool if you take the blue collar style, but the blue collar people never get the accolades.
Nope.
Bro, what are you talking about? Stop it. Fetterman is supported by unions, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the splits. I haven't looked into Pennsylvania, the sort of voting results. I imagine if you break that down by income, I imagine it wasn't a whole bunch of like truckers voting for Dr. Oz and then the PMC voting for Fetterman. I guess
They're so insecure about that, though.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah. That's why pro-union Democratic leaders are a huge threat. Yeah, because
they can't deal with this at all.
They traffic in the aesthetics of anti-establishment, like working man stuff. But when it gets a little deeper than that, they freak out.
Here's the accolades they should get: the PRO Act, a fully funded NLRB. Let's give them some accolades.
Yeah,
we don't need a guy from the IBEW in the New York Times most fashionable section.
That is not what the left wants.
We need them to have rights. We need them to have health care.
No,
that's what they need.
We've already got the Union Drip Twitter account. That is, let me make sure I got that.
Yeah, Chris Mull should have been in most fashionable.
Yeah,
he should be at Union Drip. So if you want some of your worker fashion, that's where they're getting their accolades. Gutfeld, you should promote this on the show.
The blue collar style, but the blue collar people never get the accolades.
Nope.
Accolades.
I'm not even going to try to say anything. Just you go rip him with everyone.
No, you try. You try.
No.
Look, honestly, I think he looks good in 1830. He looks more normal then than now. That's all I have to say.
We're gonna see.
Burn.
Yeah, you got they
Palestinians drinking 1830.
It is just they really. Conservatives really hate if you look different than them. Like, and it's not just a race stuff. I mean, I was telling the story the other day. Like, there are people that are obsessed with the fat agenda being a real big problem in society. They want queer people, they want gay people, they want people who might have different body types than what is like perceived to be the norm. Disabled people to hate themselves. They want you to hate yourself. And if you don't subscribe to their ideal, then that's the consequence of that. It's really, and it's a sad life. Like, you could liberate yourself and just feel good about who you are, but they don't want anyone to do that.
I think about that all the time with these guys, where I'm just like, maybe it just fuels them, but it must be slightly exhausting to just.
That's why they drink all the time.
So much.
Sorry.
Also,
allegedly.
Sorry, Fetterman looks cool in his costume from set.
Yeah, sorry.
And is also 6'8" and could choke slam Jesse Waters.
Yeah.
Like, he does look good in that.
We're actually showcasing two guys on the program who've kicked Jesse, who could and have kicked Jesse Waters' ass.
Well, one who has and one who could, yeah.
Ryan Grimm and John Fetterman.
Oh, right. That's a wonderful way to bookend this program. Ryan is a Chad.
He's such a Chad.
He's such a Chad.
He is the Giga Chad.
Yeah.
The Majority Report Giga Chad is Ryan Grimm.
All right. Well, with that, I'm going to read some IMs and we will get out of here.
The Majority Report Giga Chad is Ryan Grimm.
All right. Well, with that, I'm going to read some IMs and we will get out of here. Jerv says, I'm a carpenter and I'm furious that the New York Times style section hasn't profiled me for wearing Carhartt since I was 17. Swim shorts. Wait, there's a politician who LARPs as blue-collar worker, but really is a Harvard-educated goon? What Republican politician are they talking about?
Right.
Yeah, can we all, right, sorry, can we just also talk about, like, I listened to the clip pretty closely, but I don't seem to remember them talking about Senator Foghorn Leghorn, John Kennedy, who is a literal 2-time Ivy League degree holder, who talks as if he lives on a ranch in Baton Rouge, and is literally like an elite prosecutor, attorney, and highly educated, expensively educated guy.
I mean, Ted Cruz.
His entire stake is a complete fraud. Same thing with Ben Sass. Same thing with Ted Cruz. Like, spare me.
I have a funny Twitter blue update. So there's this guy, Travis Brown, at Travis Brown on Twitter, who seems to be some sort of like code or whatever. He Twitter Blue Round 2. I'm traveling and haven't looked at this in detail, but my tracker, he set up a tracker, has taken 66 million profile snapshots and 18 million distinct accounts since Monday's relaunch, and it's found a grand total of how many new Twitter Blue signups do you think it's caught since Monday?
Since Monday?
Yeah.
5,000.
Half that. It's 2,215.
Damn.
Travis continues saying 15 of the top 20 by follower counts are porn. The top non-porn personal accounts are the UKIP Gamergate guy and a Bolsonaro supporter who recently got Elon Musk's attention with claims of election fraud. So I don't know. I'm going to do 2,215 times 8. Just give me a second to pull up my calculator. That's 215 times 8. That is $17,000, $17,000, about $18,000 a month. So
that's enough to make
divide that by 13 billion. It's going to take a while.
Elon's getting ready to sell some more Tesla stock.
Oh yeah, baby. Okay. Sam Celebrity Penis Curiosity.
Sorry, there are Patreons that do significantly better than the Twitter Blue.
the Chapo Trap House Patreon is more profitable than Twitter Blue
by about 5 times.
God, they got in on that early. Good for them. Sam Celebrity. Well, I just pray for those who have to listen to their grandparents talk about what Jesse Waters and Tucker Carlson said this holiday season. Prayers for you. I'm anticipating some of my own conversations coming around,
including Jesse Waters' own mother. Jesse Waters used to have a segment where he would show a text from his mom being like, Jesse, I'm really worried about you.
Yeah.
You seem to have a real problem with your anger and with your resentment towards others. And he just goes, shut up, Mom. You voted for Obama twice.
I remember that. I remember like his parents plead with him to be a little bit less horrible, and he just uses it to own them.
Yeah, don't admit to letting the air out of female colleagues' tires.
That story.
And marrying them.
That was a Jesse Waters segment where I forgot to tell that story. I try to do it every time. Just so people know.
Yeah, it's wild.
For people who don't know, Jesse Waters met his current wife when she was an intern under his tutelage at his program. And in order to woo her, he let the air out of her tires at the Fox News building, told the story voluntarily so that she would not be able to leave and he'd have to provide her with a ride home. Believe he was still married at the time. Just
romantic.
Check that box.
Super